So this video is going to be called Why Ben Shapiro is a Worthless Idiot. Ben Shapiro is a freaking moron. Anyways, yeah. So normally back in the day, like I would just looked at a Ben Shapiro, classified him, qualified him, then moved on with my life. Like, oh, so this is a person in the world who has no integrity, no morality, no decency, who uses religion as a validation and justification for his own particular form of evil and self-worship and egotism. Egotism and self-worship. Ben Shapiro is a tried and true believer of that form of personal ideological comprehension. He worships himself and money. Not because he's Jewish, but because of the fact he worships Satan. But, you know, whatever. Like, seriously. I just gotta be real here real quick. No. I mean, Ben Shapiro's made it pretty clear through his philosophy. He thinks money, power, capitalism, these are forms of validation and these are valid forms of classification for people as individuals. Ben Shapiro values money more than he does the individual human being and human person. Look at what he said about Palestinian people. You know what I mean? That level of hatred and disregard and disregard of another person who doesn't share the same culture or skin color as you shows a level of worship external to the human internal value, the values that are even taught within the Torah itself. But Ben Shapiro doesn't care about the Torah, and I know. You're an anti-Semite, whatever, loser. Like, I just gotta be real here. How can I take this? I'll just be real. Einstein has had the biggest impact on my Jesus and Einstein, two biggest people, had the biggest impact on my life. You want to know something about those two people? They're both Jewish. Want to know one of the people who I respect most of all within this world? Jon Stewart. Like, literally, Jon Stewart to me is probably the best example of a kind, caring, decent human being with integrity. Jon Stewart has the highest, utmost level of integrity, morality, decency, and just compassion and goodness. Jon Stewart to me is an exemplary example of the chosen people. And I mean this. Same thing with Bernie Sanders, in fact. Chosen people. Like, chosen. Like, you are chosen. Not because, these psychopathic lunatics were like, hey, we got money and power. We have money and power, so come with us where you have more money and power. No. Those satanic worshiping losers. These people worship Satan. And a house divided cannot stand. People should listen to, the Bible and so. Anyways, fear of God is the key to wisdom. A lot of wisdom within the Bible. See, people don't understand what that means because they're stupid. And sadly, religion hasn't done the Bible any favors at all. Like, at all. I mean, really. Like, I go to church and I even pose a question and you know what I mean? I even question some level of orthodoxy and the room is just like, you know what I mean? Just like lose, and just tightens. Like, you just feel everyone get tense. Oh my God, he questioned orthodoxy. Jesus isn't literally the God who created the Milky Way and the entire universe and this, no. Jesus is a form and representation of God who had a connection, but Jesus is not God himself and in the entirety. Blasphemer. Do you know how complex the universe? Do you know how big? Do you know how insane it would be for a person to have the knowledge of the entire universe? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And that's a problem. Religion, because at one point or another, I'll just go into a quick explanation. Because of the scientific revolution, religion at a point in time tried to differentiate itself from science. And what it did by that was like, kill the scientists. And people are like, you know what? I don't feel great about my life, but, killing people because they don't agree with me, that might make me feel better. And thus is the story of humanity. but that's what happened. And so atheists, because religious people had this whole anti-science, comprehension going on for so long, science became antagonistic towards religion itself. So science took on the very same thing. You know what I mean? Religion was like, screw you, science. I was like, screw you, religion. And so then you had atheists within this newer age who were like, I'm team science. You know what I mean? And so They saw religion as the antithesis of what science is, and that's not actually true at all. I mean, even Einstein said like religion without science without religion is science without religion is lame. Religion without science is dumb, or yeah, something like that. Meaning there's worth and complexity in both systems of thought and comprehension. It's just religion as itself has been used as an institutional structure designed to kind of create power and control and limitation over the population through means of justifying it. Yeah. Pretty much religion has been used as a moral justification for evil for a very long time. And that's who Ben Shapiro that is the vein that Ben Shapiro is in. Like Ben Shapiro guaranteed cares nothing about the moral precepts of the Torah whatsoever. Like at all. Like at all. Ben Shapiro is a moral failure on every single level as a human being, a moral failure. And it's just like, it's just who he is, because he doesn't care about people. He doesn't honestly care about people. What Ben Shapiro cares about is the system of, okay, this is actually really accurate. The systemized structures of society, so he can use these systemized like hierarchical structures as a way to determine himself in a better position and capacity than other people. So like you have a hierarchical structure. Ben Shapiro loves the hierarchy because in a lot of ways he is a part of the hierarchy itself. And he defines himself by the structural system of the hierarchy itself. So people are suffering is justified because he's not suffering. You know what I mean? If black people suffer more, it's because of the fact they're probably not Jewish. And so Ben Shapiro is great. Ben Shapiro is doing great. You know why? Because he's Jewish. He's white. He has a level of power. He has a level of money. He has a level of respect. Like these are the things that define him as an individual. Which just proves he is an immoral person entirely. Like the Torah goes into these types of people who are so hierarchically structured that it's just like, bro, you don't care about morality whatsoever. And that's who Ben Shapiro is entirely. He wants to talk about Judeo-Christian values. Bro, Jesus would slap the hell out of Ben Shapiro. Like, literally. Like, Jesus would just look at Ben Shapiro and just, like, whack. Because he is a horrible person. He truly is a horrible person. Like, and he follows none of the precepts of Jesus whatsoever. Like, Ben Shapiro doesn't follow the Torah or the moral, like, teachings of the Torah whatsoever. Ben Shapiro is antagonistic towards the teachings of Jesus. You know what I mean? They have no overlap whatsoever. And it's been a pretty big problem for a long time because of the fact you have religion that has been used for so long to demean, to destroy, to attack, and to justify that. It's like, that's what it is. See, this is what it is in its entirety. Religion is a man-made structural institution controlled by people. You know what I mean? And it is one that has a moral overtone. Humans, we're very concerned with morality. And so what religion has been used because it's a structural institution within the society itself that claims to be about morality. Religion, a lot of times, almost all the time, has been used as a vessel to justify the particular actions of a community. Like burning the churches of black people. Like, oh, you're Christian and you're burning, like it was black people or less people, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Religion was then and thereafter effect of how do we justify this? God is not any of that. God is God. You know what I mean? Even if you're an atheist, like let's just decouple the comprehension. Religion could be 100% wrong. It has no bearing on the reality of God. Okay? Religion could be 1000% wrong. Has no bearing on the reality of God. Alright? I just gotta say this real quick. Jesus absolutely could have done miracles. If you were an atheist, like, this is impossible. Well, then you're an idiot who lacks the intelligence and imagination necessary to truly be a great scientist. Because you don't pre-conclude a conclusion before you actually understand all the elements involved in the potential ability of a particular experiment or a particular action. If you pre-conclude that you cannot do miracles so on and so forth, you're limiting your entire system of thought and evaluation about what the universe could or could not be because of the fact that you have a personal vendetta against the religion or the organization that proposes these particular ideas. It's weak-minded and stupid, and a large reason why Einstein had a lot of disrespect and a lot of irritation towards particular types of fucking atheists. Anyways, moving on. Ben Shapiro's a joke. I'd wipe the floor with him in any debate. But I think like he is a pathetic. See, unlike Ben Shapiro, who sounds and talks fast and just blah 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 blah. I think like I actually know what I'm saying. Like that, I just came up with that probably because I'm a rapper. But but it means something. I'm not just saying words that don't have any actual value. You know what I mean? Unlike Ben Shapiro. And I don't know. Real quick, Ben Shapiro's entire capacity for debating is to talk really fast and assert himself. So what Ben Shapiro does is put someone on the defensive and does not ever let them not be on the defensive. Like Ben Shapiro, and that's all he does. It's just like, I'm attacking. Like Ben Shapiro, and it's the same thing Donald Trump does. Attacks consistently and constantly, but has no substance to what they're saying. And to any onlooker who is looking at this, the person sees on the defensive because, like, you're attacking me. Okay, defend, then rebut. Oh, another attack, defend, attack. And so what happens is a person ends up getting just overwhelmed by the unequivocal attacks. What you just got to do is you got to know how to stop the attack. Be like, look, you're joking. Like, and you also have to understand who you're arguing against, because if you're arguing against a person like that, there is no substance to what they're saying. Like Ben Shapiro has not an inch of integrity within his entire character. So what he is saying doesn't mean anything. The only thing he's really trying to do is get him in the position of winning. He's just trying to subjugate the other person. That's all Ben Shapiro cares about. All he cares about is subjugating the other person. And so that means that substance isn't required. Ben Shapiro does not go back home ever, and reflect on what he said, like, oh, I was wrong. He never does that because he has no integrity. He has no internal system of value. His value is entirely and completely externalized to the social structure to which he values, because of the fact that social structure values him in return. It's pathetic. He doesn't have, like, he's a horrible person. Like, sincerely a horrible person. But I digress. What was I going with this? Ben Shapiro's a horrible person. Attack. Religion, social, or religion. Oh, God can absolutely exist outside of the confines of religious comprehension. But more so than that, there's always been this type of religious comprehension of the authoritative nature of religion, which is, I have the real God on my side. Now I get to tell you what to do and how to live. And if you don't do that, I can do whatever I want to because God's on my side. That's how that works. And the problem with that is that's not actually what the religion teaches, neither in the Torah nor in the Bible. It's just that people use religion like religion is a man-made institution. You know what I mean? It's under control by people, not God. And a lot of people have a hard time comprehending this. Like, yeah, you go to the top of any church, it's not God, it's a person. It's all people. And so people put God on religion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Catholic, God's on Catholicism. I'm Muslim, God's in Muslimism. Or Islam, whatever. Or I'm Jewish, God's in, Judaism. And so what they do by that is, like, God's in Judaism. Now anything Jewish people do, or anybody who does anything in relation to Judaism, is inherently right, because God is now giving us our comprehension. Not understanding you guys are freaking imagining it, because your book, literally the Torah or the Bible, doesn't say anything of the matter. Doesn't say anything of the matter as such. And that's just the truth. Jesus was inherently like, look, you don't listen to these religious people. They're full of crap. Like literally, read about what Jesus said about the freaking Pharisees and the Sadducees. He talked all types of crap. He's like, they're full of crap. They literally have nothing of value. They look clean and pristine on the outside, like marble tombs, but inside they're filled with things dead and everything unclean. Do you pretty much saying, yeah, they look good on the outside because they're putting on a show, but inside there's nothing of morality, spirituality. They don't even have a soul. It's just decrepit bull crap that they freaking hide, and they hide behind by putting up this fancy exterior. That's like the message of Jesus in the Bible, talking about people like Ben Shapiro. especially like Jesus literally talked about people specifically like Ben Shapiro. They love to be seen and recognized within the synagogue in high positions of class and honor. Is there literally anything that better describes Ben Shapiro as a human being besides that? I mean, read the passages. Jesus was literally talking about the abhorrent nature of religious authorities, and Ben Shapiro, for whatever dumb reason, considered a religious authority in order to marginalize, destroy, and hurt other people for their own particular benefit and their own particular feelings of superiority. Jesus literally in the Bible talked tons of crap about people like Ben Shapiro specifically, and about the true cruel and immoral nature of people like Ben Shapiro. And that's a problem. People don't understand this. You know what I mean? That's actually the real problem. Nobody actually understands what they're reading. You know what I mean? You have Christians who are like, yeah, man, the kids came here, and these people and their parents came here illegally. We can lock them up. Jesus literally said, "For I was a refugee and you did not welcome me. Now you're gonna go to hell." It's in the Bible, like the parable of the sheep and goat. You know what else is in there? "For I was hungry and you did not feed me. Go to hell." Like, sir, "For I was sick, you did not heal me, go to hell. For I was in prison, you did not visit me, go to hell." Like that, it's in the Bible. It's called the parable of the sheep and the goats. That section is the goats. And this is what Christians believe. Food stamps, man, you're lazy. You don't deserve food. Healthcare isn't a right. They came here illegally, we should be able to lock them up. We don't need to welcome refugees. These are what Christians believe. They don't, like, it is literally the antithesis of what Jesus said. But it's because of the fact they don't actually care about what Jesus said. They don't care about what Jesus taught. The only thing these people care about is one thing above all else: feeling superior. And using religion, which is, again, religion is a system of authority like government. It is something that is used and put in place within a particular society to create a system of community acknowledgement and agreement. And it is one that claims to come under the banner of morality. So people think that because automatically they're a part of a religion that they inherently inherit morality. But use Ben Shapiro as an example, he's obviously an immoral piece of trash. Like, he literally said that the Civil War justified, like, that was the atonement of slavery. Then what happened with Jim Crow? Huh? Ben Shapiro would have a Jim Crow because you have nothing, Ben Shapiro. You have no soul. You have nothing internally of any freaking value. The only thing you are, Ben Shapiro, you're a caricature of a religious person. You're a caricature of a moral person. That's it. It's not real. It's a facade and you're a joke. You're a pathetic joke. Because it's even clear in the Torah, you help the poor, the sick, those in need. Jesus' ideas didn't come from anywhere. Jesus was in line with the Torah because Jesus understood the Torah. Unlike you, Ben Shapiro, who think you can kill and murder the widow and the orphan and no consequences will come from it. Sadly, you've shown that you've not learned anything from following the religious quote-unquote book you supposedly worship and, predicate and create your life around. So, simply put, religion is a system used and created and managed by people. Under the guise of God, it could be one of the most dangerous and damaging things at possible. But just because that is the case does not preconclude the non-existence of God. God is not religion. And anybody who thinks that God is inherently associated or defined or limited by the religious precepts of any type of comprehension doesn't understand the concept of God whatsoever. And in fact, I would even say is limited in their capacity to think and evaluate because they can't even conclude or consider a God outside of the religious context that our society gives them. And that's weakness, it's internal and intellectual weakness. And sadly, it's not just effective. It doesn't just have an effect on people like Ben Shapiro. It has a huge effect, I think, on a lot of atheists. I would even say potentially the majority of atheists who don't even have the intellectual integrity or complexity to comprehend the existence of a God outside of the religious framework or the religious authority that is presented to them on a daily basis. See, unlike Ben Shapiro, I'm actually intelligent. I would rip him apart, but the more I think about it, the more I feel like it's just like, I'm going out of my way to beat up a stupid and an arrogant middle schooler. But the fact is he has a lot of followers. But I would rip him apart. Like, oh my god, I just get excited just thinking about just seeing Ben Shapiro face to face and just ripping him. Not physically at all, but I would tear into him. I would be real, like, bro, you're a godless sack of trash. And if you even read the Torah, you'd understand how despised you are. Truly. How God even spoke about you. The God of the Torah, Yahweh, has spoken about trash like you from day one. But Ben Shapiro doesn't care about that. Because to him, God isn't there. You know what I mean? God isn't God. To him, God is something that is tethered and forced to be subjugated under the banner of religion. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, Ben Shapiro thinks that because of the fact that people have a religion in relation to the, Yahweh, that Yahweh is now in the form of subjugated to these people's perceptions of him. Yahweh, God, is not subject to anybody's anything. If you read anything about the Torah, about the exile, about the control of Babylon, or even the subjugation of Egypt on the Israelites, you will understand one thing above everything. God does not answer to anyone. Especially you, Ben Shapiro. So you can try to legalize God all the hell you want. God has no obligation to give a crap about you. God has no obligation to justify and validate your vile, evil use of the Torah. He doesn't. He never will. And that's the funniest thing, because Ben Shapiro, if he actually believed in God, he would know this shit without question. But he doesn't. He believes in the institution of religion, which is a power institution, as a form and function of control, and a form of function of control of other people. AKA, Ben Shapiro loves religion because religion has the capacity to subjugate and force other people into submission. And the reason Ben Shapiro loves religion is because he thinks that's God. He thinks that the capacity to subjugate another person forcefully is a representation of God himself. And that's why Ben Shapiro is a vile sack of evil shit. There you go. Deuces.